Hello, everybody. Excited Utterance here. My name's Hella. I'm here. I'm from Brisbane, Australia, and I usually comment on US cases, but today I'm commenting on an Australian case, and it is the Bruce Lehrmann case. So here I am to give you a bit of a snapshot. And the reason I'm doing this is because I actually have been looking to see if there's somewhere online where you can actually just catch up on this whole Bruce Lehrmann, Brittany Higgins thing. And it's very difficult to find a quick way to learn about this. And I put this together myself. So here we go. I am going to start right now by showing you this timeline that I put together. So let's start, shall we? Let us begin right at the very beginning when it all started on the 22nd of March 2019. Now, this is Miss Higgins on the left here, and this is Mr. Lehrmann, and they worked in our auspicious Parliament House in Canberra. Canberra is our capital city. As people overseas aren't aware, it's not Sydney, it is Canberra, which is about halfway between two of our major cities, Melbourne and Sydney. And Ms. Higgins and Mr. Lehrmann were basically administrators in our Parliament House, and they were out with some other colleagues just on a Friday night, I believe. I think it was a Friday night, and they were having just drinks at a local club or pub called The Dock. And so they were work colleagues, and at Australia's Parliament House, Brittany Higgins and Bruce Lehrmann at The Dock in Canberra, ACT, that's Australia Capital Territory, on Friday the 22nd of March 2019. And you can see that is Britt there in the white dress looking at a mobile phone, and there is Bruce in the blue shirt with glasses. And you can see there's beers and all sorts of things there. All right, so fairly standard after work drinks. Now, as the night went on, so the story goes, the party sort of broke up a little bit, and Higgins and Lehrmann, I believe a couple of other people, went off to a second bar or club called 88 miles per hour. So it was like a 80s themed kind of club, kind of like, you know, the DeLorean, how it had to go 88 miles per hour to travel back in time. And now Lehrmann has denied that he pashed, which means kissed, Higgins whilst sitting in a booth later that night at the second bar, 88 miles per hour. Now, at this point, I am going to put onto the screen this, where is it? Content warning, because I am going to start talking about the allegations, which are of a troubling nature. So if they bother you, now's the time to dip out. Okay, moving on. All right, so then the night wore on and the party dispersed a bit further. Bruce and Brittany apparently wanted to catch an Uber together to get to their side of town. So they decided to do that, but allegedly Bruce left his keys at Parliament House. And so he suggested that they stop by Parliament House in order to get his keys. Now, at 1:48 a.m., they are seen entering Parliament House, and you can't get into Parliament House without there being plenty of cameras. So that's definitely seen here. They had to press the intercom button in order to be let in because there's no keys, right? So keys with the fob on it, couldn't get in. Okay, so Higgins and Lehrmann are seen entering Parliament House after catching an Uber together. Now, accounts differ at this point. So there is CCTV footage. Let's have a little bit of a looky at that. Obviously, this has been looked at a lot. This is courtesy of 7 News Spotlight. CCTV footage shows both parties entering. Now, I don't think there's any argument that Brittany Higgins was extremely intoxicated at this point. They were seen walking down the hall together. Now, I've never seen further footage past this point. I don't know if there is any further footage past this point. They were let into this room here. Security guard walks away. At 2:34 a.m., Lehrmann is shown leaving alone. He swipes out. Clearly, he has his swipe card at that point. So yeah, the story goes that he went one way, she went the other way. He apparently went to his office, and she has a very different account, which is obviously what the allegations are made up of. Okay, so 23rd of March 2019, Higgins was allegedly found naked that morning on the couch in the office of Minister Linda Reynolds. Reynolds was the boss of both Higgins and Lehrmann. Okay, so that's our lovely Parliament House there. So Higgins alleges that Lehrmann sexually assaulted her on that couch in their boss's office. Lehrmann has always denied the allegations, always. So 3 days later, 26th of March, according to reports, Lehrmann's chief of staff advised him to resign as he was expected to be investigated for his early morning entry into Reynolds' office and for mishandling security documents in an unrelated case. So allegedly no mention of anything other than the security breach and mishandling security documents. Okay, April 2019, so the next month, Minister Reynolds has a meeting with Higgins about the night herself, and Lehrmann entered the premises under highly unusual circumstances. Also in April 2019, Higgins reports her allegation against Lehrmann to the Australian Federal Police, the AFP. Later in April, she withdraws her complaint and halts the AFP's investigation. She cites concerns that making the report would negatively affect her employment. Subsequently, Higgins transfers to work as a staffer at the Office of Employment Minister, Michaela Cash. So she transfers within the party offices, right? So into a different office, but sort of still within Parliament House. On April 5, 2019, meanwhile, Lehrmann is terminated from his position on Reynolds' staff. On the 5th of February 2021, so we're skipping a little bit now. So April 5, 2019, nearly a year, so 10 months later, Higgins resigns from her position at Parliament House, Michaela Cash's office. And then 10 days pass. 10 days. On the 15th of February 2021, news breaks via an exclusive interview on news.com.au by a journalist called Samantha Maiden, titled "Young Staffer Brittany Higgins Says She Was Raped at Parliament House." Lehrmann is not named. So there it is. There's the article. It's still actually online if you want to look it up. There's some pictures of Higgins with her then boss, Michaela Cash. And there she is with the then Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, or ScoMo, as he's called. And if you aren't aware and someone refers to a man called ScoMo or even a man called Albo, that's what we call our Prime Ministers. Our Prime Ministers always have cute names. So ScoMo, Scott Morrison, Albo, Anthony Albanese. They never are known by their full name, because if we call someone by their full name, that means we don't like them. And not that we really like our Prime Ministers, it's just they give themselves these names so that it looks like we like them. Right, moving on. On the 15th of February 21, also, so the same day, this lady, Lisa Wilkinson, this one here, she did an interview, a TV interview, that very night on Channel 10, Network 10, and note, Lehrmann versus Network 10, right? On a TV show called The Project. That evening, Lisa Wilkinson presents the first televised interview with him on The Project, Network 10, where the allegations are made. Again, Lehrmann is not named. See this screen grab from The Project. It says, "I told him to stop. Parliament House bombshell." "15th of February 21, Higgins reinstates her Australian Federal Police complaint." So the same day. So all these things happen on the same day. Now, April 2021. So 2 months later, the Australian Federal Police, AFP, interview Lehrmann. Now, a few months pass. On the 7th of August 2021, Lehrmann is publicly identified as the individual charged with the SA of Higgins. His lawyer stated he absolutely, unequivocally denies that any form of SA took place at all. Yes, so that was the date that his lawyer spoke on his behalf publicly in order to make sure that it was very clear that he was not going to be putting in any sort of plea other than not guilty. November 2021, Lehrmann enters a not guilty plea to a Canberra magistrate. The trial is scheduled for June 2022. And then June 2022 rocks around. In fact, it's the 22nd of June, and we are at what's kind of like the US daytime Emmys, I'm told, something similar to that. And they're called our Logies, right? And there's Miss Wilkinson. She's that lady who did the TV interview with Miss Higgins back in February of 2021. On that day, the same day that Ms. Maiden also did the news article, and she's accepting an award for that exact TV interview on The Project on Network 10. And she knows very well that there's going to be a criminal trial very, very soon. In fact, she's going to be a witness in the trial. And only weeks before the criminal trial was due to commence, Wilkinson gave an acceptance speech for an award at Australia's Logies. The award was for her interview with Higgins on The Project in 2021, and as a result, the court ruled the case would need to be delayed until October 2022. Yeah. Okay, so the criminal trial of Lehrmann, so this is 4th of October now, that rocks around. The criminal trial of Lehrmann finally began in Canberra with Chief Justice Lucy McCallum presiding. She told the pool of potential jurors it's become a trial that has a momentum of its own. I'll tell you what, it sure did, right till the very last second. 19th of October came along, and the witness list was whittled down, and the trial concluded sooner than expected. Much sooner than expected, actually, because you know what happens. Well, Justice McCallum urged the jury not to be swayed by public opinion, but then this happened. The trial was dismissed on the 22nd of October 2022. A jury member is found to have conducted their own research. Higgins addressed the press outside the court tearfully, and a new trial date is set for February 2023. Yes, the trial was dismissed. Now, I'm just going to show you a little bit of what happened that day It was a whirlwind that day. It was just, okay, right, the case is over, the trial's over, really? Just like that? I mean, the jury was deliberating.
I was cross-examined at length. My life has been publicly scrutinised, open for the world to see. I want to thank the workers in Canberra's healthcare system, without whom I literally wouldn't be here today. Bruce Lehrmann has pleaded not guilty to the single charge of sexual intercourse without consent. He's never spoken publicly during this trial. We heard today from his barrister, Stephen Whitebrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all in court. You've heard that this matter is still before the courts. And so as much as we'd like to say anything, obviously everyone's disappointed by what's happened, but it would be inappropriate and irresponsible to say anything at this stage.
Yeah, so as you can see, Higgins was very emotional. She chose to address the public about her distress. Mr. Whitebrow there, Mr. Lehrmann's counsel, was clear that it was not something that was able to be spoken about. And you probably might recognise him. You've been watching the live stream of the civil case. He is representing Mr. Lehrmann again. He's an excellent barrister and very much worth watching. So yes, that happened on the 27th of October. And then, crazier still, 2nd of December 2022, it's announced that the criminal case will be dropped due to concerns with Higgins' mental health, and that there will be no retrial. So, yeah, Mr. Lehrmann will never be tried in a criminal court for these accusations. So we'll never know. We'll never be able to say, is he guilty or not guilty in a criminal sense. So as far as I am concerned, this man is not guilty. I'm very much of the opinion that every citizen should be afforded the right to the presumption of innocence. That's my opinion. I believe that's the law, actually. But that's my opinion. There's a lot of people out there who just believe that you should take the accuser's word, and I can see some merit to. I believe in listening to all victims, but everyone should absolutely have the right to the presumption of innocence. Anyway, moving on. That was my little piece of opinion piece. On the 8th of February 2023, in the wake of the mistrial, Lehrmann acknowledges defamation lawsuits against Network 10 and News Corp. He claims he was clearly identifiable despite not being named. He has also launched a defamation case against ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, for their coverage of Brittany Higgins and Grace Tame's National Press Club address in February 2022. All right, so that's a separate thing. Brittany Higgins and Grace Tame were seen together at that National Press Club address. Grace Tame was the Australian of the Year at the time. She is an advocate for SA survivors, and it was just an optical thing. With Brittany having obviously been an accuser of somebody who had not been proven guilty in a court of law. That has since been settled. In fact, it was settled just last week, I believe. And that's a whole separate issue which you can go and look up. But I thought I would mention it because we are doing a timeline of events. Now, the Network 10 one, though, is the one that is ongoing as we speak. But the ABC trial was due to happen now, alongside the Channel 10 one, and it's not. So that does sort of tidy things up in terms of what we're looking at regarding looking on a trial coverage. So now, in between times, something else happened. June 2023, Channel 7 releases a two-part documentary, including Lehrmann speaking his first television interview. So here he is. He's found out that he's not going to have a criminal trial, but much of Australia has decided that he's guilty anyway. He knows this, right? So what does he do? He goes, okay, I'm going to speak to the media and try and show my side of the story, as you do. So Channel 7 releases this two-part documentary. There he is there. And also, Channel 7 does a little bit of digging, and it finds something. It finds some tapes. Don't know how it found the tapes. There's lots of speculation as to who coughed those tapes up, but it finds some tapes of Miss Wilkinson and some other media. June 2023, the documentary includes audio tapes of Higgins speaking with Lisa Wilkinson and other media about going public with the allegations back in 2021. So I'm going to play you just a little bit of this. This is from 7 News Spotlight, and it's referencing that Network 10 news piece that went onto the project. And let's just see how the volume is.
Why didn't you press charges?
Yeah.
I have every confidence that you will answer that very eloquently.
Yeah.
But it's one you just need to really think about.
Yeah.
And you
whittle it down to it.
Yeah, but speak about the culture.
Yeah.
That, you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if you can enunciate the fact that this place is all about suppression of people's natural sense of justice, because you see around you the way that this place works.
Yeah.
That will help.
Did you feel pressured in any way whatsoever not to proceed with the case, with the police?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is a strange culture of silence in parties where it's in everyone's interest to make the problem go away.
It's about fear, it's about intimidation, it's sexist, everything is implied, everything's in secret.
I never let my friends know, I never really let my family know, because it was this weird, it's this culture of silence.
So yeah, that was that. Now, 22nd of November, which that leads us up to now. So Lehrmann, the civil defamation trial that Lehrmann versus Network 10, of Lehrmann versus Network 10 began in the Federal Court of Australia. Now, Lehrmann asked that his identity was perfectly obvious and that Wilkinson's interview with Higgins utterly destroyed him. So that one that you were just watching, it utterly destroyed him. Lehrmann's case against the ABC, the one we were speaking about just a moment ago, was settled in confidential terms without omission of liability. So that brings us to right now. Please subscribe for updates. I am watching this defamation trial as we speak. So I'm watching it on the YouTube channel, which is serving it up live. It is only showing it live. It is not leaving it up for viewing after the fact. So I am glued to my screen. I'm taking notes. It's really important. I feel like this is an important case for the judicial system in Australia to be actually seen by other parts of the world. People are watching this, they're interested. And I hope that also there's accountability for the media in Australia, because this man has really been hung out to dry, in my opinion, by these networks. So, I mean, that's just an opinion, but I feel like it was very obvious that who he was, and that they didn't use the correct terminology. They didn't say allegedly. In many instances, they didn't. They just allowed the accusations to go out there blindly. So that may not be proven in this trial, but we'll see. So thank you for joining me. Much appreciate your attention today. Again, please like and subscribe to me, and I will be bringing you as much as I can from the room and beyond. And thank you. I will see you wherever you are on this round earth. Have a great day, morning, noon, or night.